All right, good morning, Megan. Hope you're doing well this morning. I've had another change of plans. Now have two sick girls, and so I've got to stay home again today, but hopefully this will go a little bit better. I figured out how to upload the video, so hopefully you'll get this in a little earlier time than you did yesterday. All right, if you would check the worksheet that you did for yesterday, actually your assignment was due today, but I will send the link to check and then the worksheet that I'm doing right now. You should have a copy of that with you because I'm going to do the odd problems, and then once we go through these, I want you to work on the even problems. This is adding and subtracting rational expressions. So this is going to be a little bit different than the worksheet you did yesterday. Yesterday it was multiplication and division, and you just were multiplying and canceling. Now what we're doing is we're adding and subtracting. So we have to remember our rules for adding and subtracting fractions is really what we're doing. Here's a fraction. Now with variables, we call it a rational expression. And so we're going to add these two rational expressions together. These first two that we're going to start out with are in good shape because these two here have common denominators. And so as long as their denominators look exactly the same, we can add them together. And so we're going to say equals a fraction with, you know what, let me undo that. Please bear with me as I work with the writing part of this program is challenging. All right, our denominator is going to be 8v so you just write your common denominator, and then for my numerator, I can, because it's all addition here, you just think of it, here's a variable 1u plus 6u would be 7u, and then a negative v plus a negative 3v looks like it'll be a negative 4v. Okay, and that's as far as we can go. You can't cancel anything because it's a difference here in the numerator, and there's no term that all three, 7u, 4v, and 8v have in common, so that's as far as we can go. All right, you'll do the same thing down here with number 3, and so you should be filling these in on your worksheet with me as we go. Do the same thing for number 3 here, is we're going to make a fraction. And this time the denominator, see, it's exactly the same. So you would recopy the denominator of a squared plus 3a plus 2. Actually, we can factor that. So it looks like we can factor it. Let's see. Looks like we can go a and 2 and 1. Let's try a plus 1 and a plus 2. And then that looks like it'll go 2a and 1a will be 3a. All right, and then just 5a plus 1. So the 5a will stand by itself. There's no other a, so we'll put 5a and then plus 6 because 5 plus 1 is 6. 5a plus 6. All right. And that's as far as it'll go. There's nothing we can factor out in the numerator and the denominator. It is best to leave it as a factored, take the trinomial, and if at all possible, factor it into two binomials, and that's the way you would want to leave it as a final answer. All right, let's go on now to number 5. Same thing here, and you may want to get a step ahead of me, and I will be working, and you see if you can do it. And then be looking up and seeing if we're agreeing with the same thing. You try number 5 as I do it, and then 7 we're going to have to start a little bit different process. But see if you can do number 5 as I do it as well. Okay, I just double checked everything. I think I've got it here. My denominator, I was able to factor. They're the same denominator, 3r minus 6. So both of them are the same. So both of them are the same. So that will be my denominator. But then notice I can factor out a 3 from both terms. And this would be a final form for denominator. In the numerator, just r plus r, add the coefficient of understood 1 plus understood 1 is 2r, and then 6 plus 1 is 7. And that would be the final answer there. All right, now we go down here to number 7, and two things are happening here. Number 1 is this is now a subtraction problem, and also the denominators are different. So when we have different denominators, we need to come up with the least common denominator, LCD. And it's kind of like making a combination of the denominators. And in this case, because one denominator is x minus 1, we need that included in our denominator. And then the other one is a 4, so we're going to go 4 times x minus 1. All right, so that's what our denominator is going to look like. And we're going to say equals, put our bar here, and then put this denominator in the bottom. So we would need it to look like this. We need 4x times x minus 1. It's just best to put your constant first. But basically it's the product of 4 and x minus 1. All right, then to be able to know what to do with the numerator, notice with this one's denominator we have the x minus 1, but we need to multiply it by 4 to get the common denominator, or the least common denominator. So whatever we do to the denominator, we need to also do to the numerator. So I'm just going to multiply both numerator and denominator by 4. And that will give me a 24 right here. So we're going to put that in our numerator, 24. Okay, and then do the same thing with the denominator for the second fraction. This one is missing x minus 1. So we're going to multiply the denominator by x minus 1. Well, whatever we do to the denominator, we need to do to the numerator. And do the same thing right here, x minus 1. Sorry, I had to squeeze it in there. Okay, when we do that, you've got a negative 5x here. Your term is negative 5x, and we're going to distribute the negative 5x to x. So that'll be minus 5x squared. And then my negative 5x times negative 1 will make it a positive 5x. All right, and so that, I'm pretty sure that the numerator probably can be factored, but because this was the first one that I showed you how to change to common denominators, I think we'll just take it this far for this one. But does that make sense, Megan? You come up with the LCD. It's kind of like we combine both of them. You can still see the ones that are typed. We needed an x minus 1 and we need a 4. So then you go to the two different fractions here, and it's kind of like you multiply each one by the other one's denominator. So this one we multiply by 4 over 4, and this one by x minus 1 by x minus 1, because those were the missing elements from each denominator. And then the denominator comes along here, and the numerator, all we did was multiply through. We had to distribute here and combine our terms for the numerator of the final answer. All right, let's try that again. Now this one, number 9, our LCD, I'm going to pick it up because I've got to get this video to you as soon as possible. So our LCD here is going to be x plus 7 times x plus 8. I think I might just do these last two and send it over to you, and you see if you can at least do the first page on the worksheet. Okay, the LCD here is x plus 7 times x minus 8. We combine both of them. And so as I'm writing my common denominator here, the process will be multiply the first fraction, numerator and denominator, by x minus 8. And then you're going to multiply the second fraction by x plus 7 over x plus 7. Remember, anything over itself is always equal to 1. So that's how I'm able to do it. So this one right here, I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by x minus 8. Erase that. Anyway, you see that there, and there's my LCD. I just lost that one. But I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator here by x minus 8. We're just going to ignore that 9 over x minus 8. And then this one we're going to multiply by x plus 7. Oops. I can erase that mess. Okay, it's a little bit better. Sorry about that. Okay, anyway, for the numerator, I have x minus 8 times 3 here, so I'm going to make it 3x minus 24. That will be my numerator of the first. And then plus 4x plus 28. All right, see how I did that? The denominator just came along here. It's equals to rational expression x plus 7, x minus 8. Once you get your common denominator in the denominator, you don't have to do anything else. And then because we multiply the denominator by x minus 8, we need to multiply the numerator by x minus 8. And just take this 3 and distribute it times x and times negative 8. That's how I got 3x minus 24. And then this one, 4 times x and 4 times 7. That's how I got the plus 4x plus 28. And actually with this one, I can take one more step and combine some terms up in the numerator. And so let me make one more change there. 3x plus 4x would be 7x. And negative 24 plus 28 will be plus 4. 7x plus 4. And then in the denominator, common denominator of x plus 7 and x minus 8. And it looks like everything's been done there in that problem, and that would be your final answer. Okay, one more right here. With this one, I'm going to go LCD is going to be 3 times 12x minus 8. Now in this one you could factor out a 4. However, I don't think it's that critical, and I think I'm just going to keep doing it the same way that I showed you the other ones. That way you get used to doing the same process. 12x minus 8. Okay, we're just going to combine the two of them, which means we're going to multiply top and bottom here by 12x minus 8, and then we're going to multiply numerator and denominator here by 3. So we'll make a fraction, and common denominator in the denominator. Okay, and then we need to multiply the 7. If you don't mind, I'm just going to put it here. We need to multiply 7 by 12x minus 8. And so 7 times 12, I don't know why that's doing that, is 84x. Minus 56. Okay, because what I did there was I multiplied numerator and denominator here by 12x minus 8. So 7 times 12 is 84, and 7 times 8 is minus 56. Then this fraction, we need to multiply numerator and denominator by 3. So it will be minus 3 times 8, or minus 24. So I skipped some of the steps just because, for sake of time and also space. Final answer would be 84x minus 56 minus 24 would be minus 80. And then your denominator, which we've already figured out. Same denominator of 3. Now we can factor that numerator, but again, for sake of time, we'll just leave it in this form right here, 3 times 12x minus 8. That one has some bigger numbers, and we could do some more work on it, but I just want you to get the hang of it at this point. All right, I have taken you 1 through 11, the odd on the worksheet. You would do the same thing with the majority of the others. I'm just looking over the worksheet. If they have common denominators, then just keep that as the denominator and add the numerators together, add or subtract. Number 8, I'm noticing that you just have 6 as the first number, to make it 6 over 1, and then you need to multiply numerator and denominator by the other one's denominator. And you may have to do some FOIL there. Do your best on that one. That one looks a little bit challenging. And see, whichever ones you're able to do, you should even be able to go on to page 2. They look a little more simple. So I want you to work basically 1 through 22, 1 through 22. As many of those as you can get done. You do not have to do 23, 24, 25, 26. Those are complex fractions, and we'll work on those tomorrow. So Megan, do the best that you can with those, and we'll see what tomorrow holds. Have a good day. Thanks.